Hey guys, I hope everybody's doing really well tonight, and I hope that you all had a fun experience working with your root chakras last week and trying to be more grounded and find your process and just be more present in the moment. I decided to pre-record tonight's session. I've been working a lot of long hours the last couple of weeks, and my dog has decided to let me know that she does not approve of that. She has been stuck to me like glue. So in order to avoid a disaster on live video, I wanted to pre-record this so I can edit it if anything happens, or I can make a blooper reel out of it. And of course, as soon as I decided to go ahead and pre-record this, the lawn people decided to mow my grass right outside this window. So I'm hoping it's not too loud. So we'll just roll with it. That's a part of keeping your chakras open, is just having some flexibility and just going with the flow. So here we go. So with the sacral chakra, that is now chakra number 2. So it is the second one in line above your root chakra, which we talked about last week, which lives at the base of your spine. So your sacral chakra actually lives just below your navel. The sacral chakra is so interesting because it works so much hand in hand with the root chakra. We talked about how the root chakra was the scrapbook of life. So every thought, every intention, every dream, everything that you've ever said, anything is stored in that root chakra. So now, talking about the sacral chakra, we're talking about what you do with that information that's stored away in that scrapbook, and how you apply it to life, and what you've learned as an individual with what you prefer in your life, and what brings you actual joy. So this is where you start to become a true individual. Your root chakra is more about what you learn with those first experiences, like we talked about last week. So those first experiences are also boundaries, and they're also say like a set of rules that you would have in your first tribe or your actual immediate family. So as you become an individual person and you start to understand what it is you prefer in your life and who you are as an individual, is what actually makes the sacral chakra turn and what makes it work for you. So also, without that feeling of foundation and support, we can't have an open sacral chakra. So it's very important that we have the root chakra open too, so they work well together. So it's very important on many levels with the sacral chakra. All of the chakras are, but this is a very emotional chakra. This is where we can lose control of ourselves a little bit, or if we don't live to be our true authentic selves, well, then some things can change as far as how we react to things or how we just handle things in the world, and we become blocked. So this is a really interesting one. The sacral chakra is known as the power of partnerships. So it's how we start to relate to other people that we know outside of our immediate household when we're small. Say when children first go to preschool or to daycare or things like that, and learn how to actually meet new people and what it is that helps them relate to those people. We've all done this. We all continue to do this on almost a daily basis, especially in business or, in new relationships. So it's where we start to relate to others outside of our immediate family or our original tribe. It's our creative exploration of life and relationships. So what is it that we seek out in other people that are like us? Or do we seek out relationships with people that are completely different from us? And this is not just an intimate relationship we're talking about. This is friendships. This is, people that you might touch base with once every 6 months, or people that you have in your life every day. What is it that you prefer as your individual person to relate to other people? Do you like really energetic, outgoing people? Do you like people to be really laid back? These are the things that you start to discover inside of your sacral chakra early on in life. It's also about your sexuality, and not just, there's so much talk on a quiet level about sexuality. And it's not just about the type of person that you prefer sexually, but it's also about you as an individual being a sexual person. I think that there's a lot of different stigmas in the world, and depending on how we grow up and where we grow up, we have to really start to explore for ourselves what sexuality means for us, and the fact that it is not a dirty word. It is not necessarily a sinful thing. It is something that makes us a human being. So it's very important that we begin to explore that in our lifetime. It's also discovering our power of choice. So like I said, what type of person do you feel attracted to? Sort of like a magnetism. When you meet someone, you're like, wow, we had to have known each other in another life. Just because you have so much in common, you have these common interests, you might react to things the same way, have the same types of hobbies, learning about yourself. So our sacral chakra rules our need for relationships of all kinds, and what we need to control and create in our physical world. We have to use the word control very carefully, because when we're saying what we want to control, it doesn't mean that, we want to control partnerships or we want to control other people per se, but it's more so, what do we need to create in our environment, and what do we need to do in our lifetime to achieve what type of life we want to live that fits us? What are the things that we have to do, the steps that we have to take in order to make that happen? That comes from your sacral chakra. It's where we grow and shift from obeying what we've been taught to create our own personal interests and boundaries that will serve us throughout life. So how do we do that? Experience. It's all about experience. It's about taking the knowledge that we had from growing up, and it's not something that you dismiss early on in life. When you first start to come out as an individual and you start to bloom, that you forget everything that you've been taught. Those lessons are with you throughout life until the time comes that lesson comes around and you're like, that's not my perspective anymore, or my individual perspective is this. So it follows us throughout life. The sacral chakra allows us to discover what we enjoy in life, from forming a hobby to, again, understanding our sexuality. So all of the little things, even the kinds of TV shows that you like to watch, or the types of books that you like to read, it's really truly who you are as an individual. It's centered on creating our personal identity and what brings us joy as individuals. So again, like I said, it is experiencing life in several different elements and environments, and taking the pieces that you've experienced to build your own personality. And really, honestly, what it is, it's getting in touch with yourself on a soul level, who you were born as. We're all born as an individual, and then we are influenced throughout life so we can survive. So we can survive in the world that is created around us. So as we grow older, we are starting to experience things to build that life for ourselves. from the external world outside of us as a human being. Those are the things that we're talking about here. So the things that we enjoy, the things that we crave that are from outside of us on a healthy level. It rules how we respond to the seductive forces of the world around us. Now, that's an interesting statement. Sounds so serious and deep. It really truly is, because there are so many things around us that are not only there to help us grow and to heal us. There's a lot of forces out in the world that if we dive too deep into them, they'll harm us. You know, it can go from a food addiction or a drug addiction, whatever it may be. If we're unbalanced, it can easily lead to issues with addiction, drugs, sex, gambling, money, food, whatever it may be. So we have to be really careful and understand, why is it that we're starting to crave these things that are not necessarily good for us? The sacral chakra is the foundation of a healthy ego. So like I just said, being able to find what it is that makes us whole on a healthy level. What is good for us? What makes us tick way deep down on the inside? An ego that helps us to interact without pretending to be someone else and to keep us from selling ourselves short. What a fine balance. So we've all had at least a job where we've had to be on all the time. And so we are putting on a performance, so to speak, to give good customer service, or, you know, whatever the case may be. If we do that in our lives, and I'm not talking about just being on the phone and working in customer service, but if we do that, if we change ourselves in our lives to fit into someone else's box, well, then we are selling ourselves short. But this is also a lesson in life, because we're constantly learning in what areas, wow, we might just be a little too much in this area, and we need to work on that area so we can become a little bit more of a person on the other side of that area. So maybe we're judgmental, or maybe we give away our love way too freely because we want to be loved so much back. These are things that we learn in life, and it doesn't mean that we're wrong at any point in time in our life. It just means this is where we are at that point. And if our sacral chakra is open, it's open to give us that lesson in life, to be able to improve upon it and then to move forward in a better direction later on. Being strong in our sacral, we can be financially and physically independent. And we can bond with others in harmonious relationships. So what that means is, it doesn't mean that you have to be rich. It doesn't mean that you have to run marathons or do a triathlon. What it means is you're confident within yourself. When you're confident within yourself, you're able to focus and to concentrate and to love yourself. So you're not looking for elements in other people that will make you feel complete. You're going to feel complete before you try to have relationships and friendships with people, so you can see truly what the energy share is, what that meshing is energetically, what you give to that person and what they give back to you, which is the way we all should work in harmony. But here again, life is a continuous lesson. And just as soon as we figure that we have everything solved, well, then guess what? We have another lesson to learn. So being confident within ourselves and being open in our sacral chakra, we are able to take risks. But then if things don't work out the way we think they're going to work out, we don't necessarily think the world is over. We have resilience and we can recover from things and then start again with another idea, another project, and completely recover from where we were before. And I think about COVID-19 with this, and a lot of small business owners. I'm a small business owner. It's been very tough, and things don't always work out the way we think they're going to work out. I am still not back to what I would consider normal in my lifestyle. I'm being very careful because I'm in contact with a lot of people during the day, and it's my responsibility to keep those people safe and then also the people safe that I see the next day. So I've had to learn a lot about change and being able to be flexible. And I was actually pretty proud of myself when quarantine and everything started, because I thought, this is going to be really hard and this is going to be really scary financially, but I know something is going to work out. It's going to be okay. Number one, because I was not the only one that was being affected. It was millions of us. And because I had the confidence to feel like I knew who I was and I knew what the situation was and I was not in control and I surrendered to it, it gave me the energy to be able to do some other things, to keep in touch with folks and to make the best use of my time so I could recover. That all comes from the sacral chakra. It's also our sexual chakra. So when we start talking about the sacral chakra, I've had so many interesting conversations about it in the past, because everybody says, well, isn't that your libido? It is your libido, but that's not all it is. But it is literally what turns us on. It allows us to enjoy letting go with a partner. So what that means is surrendering to a physical and energetic response as human beings that we were meant to have. There are so many issues that people can have with their sacral chakras that cause them to have issues with sex. And as a society, we have a very unhealthy term for this, and it's called hang-ups. We have hang-ups about sex. No, we don't. We do not have hang-ups. We have preferences. Okay? And yes, there are traumas in our lifetime that we may have had early on that influence the way we have sex or the way we think about sex. And that too is an exploration throughout your lifetime. That's why when we talk about energy and we talk about healing, it's very important to dig down deep and to really get to the root of who you are and what has happened to your life, happened to you inside your life up until this very point, so you can go back and you can get a new perspective on all of those issues, and to also receive help in any ways that you feel you need so you can continue to evolve and grow as a person. That's all that is. That was a lot of words. But truthfully, we can't stop thinking about who we are, not just for the benefit of being a good sexual partner or for being sexual, but it is a fact in our lives that we are born with this inside of us, and being able to let go as a human being in several different aspects of life is trust. And in that trust also comes love, very pure forms of being human, and within that is pleasure. We have the ability to realize and utilize our talents and energy in life when our sacral chakra is open. So we're not necessarily stuck on the couch saying, boy, I wish I could, or I wish I knew how to. When your sacral chakra is in balance and it's fully open, you have the energy and you have the will to want to go and teach yourself to learn these things. So again, you can bring energy back into your life that will benefit you in becoming the kind of person that you are inside to fulfill that. Again, if we deny ourselves these things and they are healthy things for us, well, then we start to have issues in the sacral chakra and we aren't turning energy there. This is a creative chakra. If we're not being creative and proactive, well, then there's a lot of dis-ease that happens in the body. And because this is an emotional chakra, there's a lot of emotions that happen that really throw us off balance. If we're out of balance, We can find ourselves in abusive and controlling relationships. Not only being the person that is being controlled, but we can be the controller because our ego is being threatened. Who we feel we are is being threatened. So we're starting to need to control things, the outcome of things, to protect who we feel we are. We can even find ourselves bullying people to try and manipulate certain circumstances so we can have the outcome that we want. We can grow fearful of a loss of power because our sacral chakra is so powerful in some of the deepest and most intimate ways of who we are as a soul. So of course, that fight, flight, or freeze response that lives in the root chakra, well, it's also going to live in the sacral chakra, and it's going to set us off like that if we're out of balance. So the bottom line about the sacral is that it teaches us no matter what relationship or circumstance we find ourselves in, they've each got a purpose at that point in our lifetime. Wherever we are in our lifetime, and we are in a relationship and we break free from that. And again, this is not just intimate relationships. It can be friendships. It can be a business partnership. It can be anything. It can be someone in your immediate family. We realize, wow, man, when I look back, I really should have felt more for myself, more love for myself, and really changed where I was at that point in my lifetime. There is no point in looking back and saying, if I had it to do over again, because that was your lesson in that time. And no matter how much it hurt, no matter how grueling it could have been, it will teach you about all of the future relationships in this lifetime. And that's invaluable. You cannot put a price on that. The difficult ones teach us the most about ourselves and our own limitations at that time. Limitations are not a bad thing. Limitations are also boundaries. So standing up for ourselves, remember, not selling ourselves short. That fine gray line that is in life. We have to make sure that we do put ourselves first, but we don't put ourselves first because we feel others should also change. We put ourselves first because we have to be able to decide if this is where I need to be in this moment or not. It is literally the birth canal. Ladies, you have the ability to grow a soul in your sacral chakra. Wow, that is so huge. And like we said about the root chakra, whatever issues you have going on in this lifetime, you will pass down to different generations, to any generation that you're birthing, and then your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren. Just like issues that your mother may have had. And when I say issues, it's not always necessarily bad things. Let's call them traits instead, okay? But traumas, definitely so. Those as well. Those are passed down to the baby that you carry because we are all connected. So having a healthy, open sacral chakra is very beneficial, especially during pregnancy. Intention is everything. So think about the thoughts that you have throughout the day. We talked about this with the root chakra. Every thought that you have actually becomes one of those little cartoon bubbles, and it floats out into space, and it has your words that you thought in it, and it has become a thing. So intention is very real. That's why we should all live in the present moment. So sickness can easily manifest when we fear that we're losing control of who we are in relationships. or even a connection to projects, creative projects that we've started. So we'll start to manifest dis-ease in our body if we can't express ourselves outside of boundaries and limitations that others have created for us from our root chakra. And then things start to go a little haywire. So what that means is, if we continue to not be able to express who we feel we're becoming as a person, as we explore ourselves through our sacral chakra, and we continue to live by the boundaries and the limitations that we have learned through our first tribe or our immediate family, we are literally bringing generational karma and baggage from our root chakra into our sacral chakra. So when we do that, we're not operating with a fully open sacral chakra, and the dis-ease that it starts to create manifests in a physical way. You can have chronic lower back pain. Now, I know that's a thing that a lot of us have, and just because you have it does not mean that you are bringing generational karma into your sacral chakra, okay? It could be one simple thing that needs to be let go of. It could be an actual physical medical issue that needs attention. But here we're talking about the energy in the chakras. So it could be chronic lower back pain, it could be arthritis, it can be sexual issues, it could be loss of libido, hip problems, sciatica issues. All of these things start to pop up as physical manifestations when you are blocked in your sacral chakra. And if you're blocked in your sacral chakra, you will be blocked in your root chakra. Because this is such an emotional chakra, when it's blocked, a lot of times you just feel numb. You don't feel like you feel anything. You can't feel true joy. You can't feel excited. You can't feel motivated. You feel like you have less confidence. You can't connect with others the way you used to. Where if your sacral chakra is open, you're meeting people that carry the same vibration as you do. So it seems like you're either the life of the party, or you get along really well with everybody at work, or it's just very easy for you to meet and talk to people. And the way I've heard this referred to in the past by older generations, and my dad was one of them, was you have the gift of gab if your sacral chakra is open. Now, he didn't know anything about the sacral chakra. I'll clear that up. But the gift of gab, and that was one thing that my dad actually had. He got along with everybody. He was able to carry on a conversation with anyone, sometimes for a lot longer than anybody else was ready for him to talk in the room. But it was just because he knew who he was, and he really liked relating to people. So if your sacral chakra is blocked, you no longer really have that ability, and you feel pretty lonesome, and maybe a little bit awkward around people sometimes. You can lose interest in yourself, lose interest in those projects that you were really excited about at some point. You can develop urinary issues. You know, again, so your sacral chakra, it holds all of your sexual organs. It also deals with our genitalia. It also contains our psoas muscles, which is yogis. You'll hear a lot of folks refer to the psoas muscles as the muscle of the soul. I know when I first became a massage therapist, I was fascinated by the psoas muscle. And anybody that would let me work on their psoas muscles, I would, because I knew that it was such an emotional and energetic muscle, and it was so important for all of that to be set free. So there's a lot of energy, a lot of emotional energy in that sacral chakra. How do you heal it? Let it go. you have to dig deep and do the work in this chakra. There's so much history in this chakra. There's so much of your childhood in this chakra. There's so much of everything you've ever been taught, everything that you've ever heard, everything that you've ever watched on TV, anything that's ever caught you off guard about being an adult or becoming a person and having confidence. That's in your sacral chakra. You want to dig deep into the dark, and you want to look it right in the eye, and you want to rediscover and redefine yourself. How in the world do you start that? And there are so many people saying, oh, I am not doing that. I put that stuff down there deep a long time ago. As long as we carry it around, it is baggage, and it's holding us back from experiencing true joy. I spoke with a client today that I did Reiki on, and we talked about living in the present moment. And what I felt around him in particular was that his past and his future was constantly swirling around his third eye. It was almost like a movie reel, just going around and around and around his head. And he said, I'm never really truly happy because I'm always thinking about what went wrong in the past or what could possibly be going wrong in the near future anytime I'm in a moment. So he was never truly living in the present moment, and it was robbing him of joy. Now, some of that came from his third eye because he's not trusting his intuition. And we think as people who want to be awakened and try to achieve self-enlightenment that the way to do that is through a crown chakra. It's not just our crown chakra. We have to heal what made us and what brought us here first. So there's a lot of stuff inside that sacral chakra that we need to look at. Know who you are and let go of the person others hold you to being. That is that statement that will help you let go of the baggage brought in from your root chakra. I'm going to read it again. Know who you are and let go of the person others hold you to being. Yeah. Be who you want to be on the inside. Be who you know you are. I changed from my mid-30s to, I think, probably once I hit 40. I let go of every bit of who I was in my 30s. And I can't really even describe the experience. It was something that just started happening to me. And I realized mainly that the injured person and the hurt person that I was in my early and mid-30s was not the only person on the face of the earth that had trauma. And many of you that know me know that many people in my family have passed away, and some of them passed away very closely to other people who passed away, and not all of the deaths were some were traumatic, let's just put it that way. And so I found myself in mourning for probably 5 or 6 years straight. And you know, what a horrible experience, everybody says. But I'm going to tell you, because of those experiences and these people that passed away were my first tribe. They were my immediate family. They were the ones that instilled those boundaries and those limitations and gave me those first lessons in life, those perceptions that I had as soon as I came out of the womb. I realized that was the most valuable lesson, which was loss. It was the most valuable lesson that I would probably ever learn in my entire life. And because of that, I peeled out, I molted from who I thought I was, this sad person. And I realized that my life was not over. And I had another person to become, that there was this light inside of me and I needed to find that, and that was in my sacral chakra. And for the first time, I truly learned how to relate to people on a level that was not expected of me, because I also came from corporate and it was sales and marketing. So, you know, everything was about a show, everything was about an impression, a perception, and my work was my life at that point. So changing things in my life gave me this huge new spectrum. And I look back and I think, boy, everything happened really quickly. And I wouldn't change any of it for the world. As painful as those experiences were, it was the experiences that made me who I am today. And I'm 44 years old. I say this a lot. I'm 44 years old, and I am the closest to my childhood self before I was molded by society than I ever have been in my adult life. I am now still the person that will go out in the pouring rain and just look up into the sky and let it rain on my face. I am the person that will talk to the butterfly that lands on the ground. I see magic and joy in what other people would think are very small things, or that they wouldn't even notice. Because of these hard lessons that I had, I was also able to let go of other things that didn't seem that important anymore, that I held close to me, that contained guilt or contained low self-esteem. All of these things that didn't matter anymore. And they were just ideas that I had of myself. My perception completely changed. Dig in there. Dig in there. Because I'm telling you, whatever darkness you're not wanting to face is so small and so insignificant compared to the breakthrough that you will have. So that sounds huge. I got deep there for a minute. You can also take baby steps. Your sacral chakra is all about your senses. It's about taste, smell, touch. It's about pleasure. It's about all the joy, things that bring you joy. Try a new food. Watch a different type of movie. Read a different kind of book. When you're walking outside in the grass, go over and touch that tree and just pay attention to the texture of things that are natural in the world, and take a space of time that would have been polluted by thinking about all of the things that you need to get done, and fill it with something slow, something naturally occurring, and just really think about it for a moment. Not only will it ground you, but it will also start to bring experiences back to you that make you feel good about the person that you are. Maybe if you touch the bark of a tree outside in your yard, maybe it will make you think about running around in circles, playing cowboys and Indians around a tree when you were a little boy. You know, these things will come back to you. That innocence comes back to you. So with all this, I also want to talk about, because you know I love crystals, one of the best crystals to assist in opening the chakra for the sacral chakra is citrine. Citrine has the ability to bring to you what you need in an abundance. So the universe knows what you need for your healing. Citrine assists in that. Citrine also has the ability to open up some very vulnerable areas of your life. Now, it doesn't rip a Band-Aid off, But what it does is it allows you to get a sneak peek of what you're starting to feel, or a sneak peek of what is tied to what you've been feeling. And you can use citrine in a meditation of affirmations to open your sacral chakra. I think one of the best ways to open your sacral chakra is to repeat affirmations to yourself that are very meaningful and touch on a lot of the emotions that are stored there. And I'm going to share some of those with you that you can do to start opening your sacral chakra. But in order to open the sacral chakra, remember, the root chakra needs to be opened as well. So when you're ready to explore meditation for these two chakras, I would recommend that you just put yourself in a comfortable position, sitting up or lying down, and you don't have to repeat these affirmations out loud. Although vibration, like we talked about last time, vibration is very important, and it really does assist in continuing to open up the energy flow. You can repeat these to yourself if you'd like. So we want to start with affirmations of the root chakra first, because it's the first chakra in line. Some of the affirmations that pertain to the root chakra are: I feel centered, I am home, I am connected, I feel safe, I feel secure, I have what I need, I trust myself, I love myself, I nurture myself. Now, you absolutely don't have to say all of these. You can pick one or two that really resonate with you, and you can repeat them. And as you're meditating and you've repeated these several times, then you can move to your sacral chakra affirmations. And those affirmations that I really like are: I attract others who treat me with respect. This is so important, because when our sacral chakras are off, we can become very codependent with people that don't treat us well. I attract others who treat me with respect. My emotions are free-flowing and balanced. I am a creative being. It is my birthright to receive pleasure. I honor my sacred body. Sex is a sacred connection. I choose to feel joy and excitement. Those are huge. And a big part of becoming aware of your energy and taking control of your energy is being able to step outside of the emotions that we have when we're out of balance and gaining control. And when I say control, let's replace control with balance, because we're stepping outside of ourselves and we're looking back and we're realizing we're out of control over there. We are out of balance. We're not acting like ourselves. Something's going on. This is how you achieve balance in those first two chakras. I would encourage you to try to use some of those affirmations in your personal practice throughout the next week. And then use your citrine if you have it. If you don't have citrine, use something that resonates with you that's either red, orange, or yellow, somewhere in that color scheme. And then also pay attention to some of the foods that you eat this week. Anything rich in omega-3s is really good at nourishing the sacral chakra. And then as far as fruits and vegetables go, it's just like we did with the root chakra, sticking to the color red. With your sacral chakra, you want to stick to the color orange. Now, since we're going through a process and we're trying to learn how to open all of our chakras, I would encourage you to eat both red and orange together, because we want to work on both of those energies together. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. You can contact me via direct message. You can contact me via email. Lots of you have my phone number. Boy, I really like doing it this way because I feel like I was more connected to just the camera and I wasn't watching your comments and things pop up, even though I love them. I love your comments. If you have any issues or any questions, let me know. We'll be doing the solar plexus chakra next week, and I hope to have that posted by tomorrow. What evening will work best. But here again, if the pre-recorded ones work better, I can still post an event, but then post the video in the event, and we can work it that way. I love you all. I appreciate you so much, and I really hope and pray that we are getting close to a little bit more of a normal existence. But until then, please be safe, keep yourself safe, and keep others safe, because we don't know what they're dealing with and we don't know who they're trying to protect. So let's be safe. I love you all and have a wonderful evening. Mwah.